Hello and welcome to the SPFL Through the Lens. This week we've got a special guest. It's an old school friend of Jason and I's, Mr. Colin Cramb, and the man that does things with football that we all wish we could do, and got a great career, and a man that does things like this.
The weight of pressure that Crewe have had to withstand, and the threat of the break has always been there. Colin Cramb has scored.
Wow, sensational stuff, really sensational stuff. Cramb makes a run from deep again. No one picks him up, Brooms can't go when he takes a touch. Great composure, what a nice finish, right in the bottom corner. Kelly comes to narrow, and that's quality composure, 1-0, beautiful. Lovely through ball from Rovers, doesn't panic, tucks it away, and now the celebrations, fantastic.
From Seville. Take a bow, sir.
Mate, it was like a great train robbery that day. I think they had like 79 shots in goal and we had one.
Was that Crewe Alexander? That was Cramb.
I was Crewe, Jason. I think that was a cup game. I think that was a cup game where they won the Prem, I think, at the time.
It was.
I think that was the year they won it. I mean, the year they won it. The year they won the Prem. They had players playing with them. And it was a fourth round or fifth round FA Cup, and we went to Blackburn. It was like, I can't tell you, we got absolutely smashed. It was like 98% possessions, like 77 chances on shot and goal. The keeper had the best game, and then all of a sudden we're up over 16-1 to win the game.
Right.
1-0. It was a great. It really was.
I actually accidentally cut it off there, and it's still got another couple of goals here.
Threat of the break has always been there. Colin Cramb.
But it was a great take.
Wow, sensational
I mean,
stuff.
for you to stay
Really
calm, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper,
Cramb makes a run from deep again.
just to open up your body to put it on the right foot.
Goal when we takes a touch.
Yeah,
Great composure. What a nice finish.
The boy
Right
that
in the bottom
played there
corner.
was,
Kelly
Rivers,
comes to narrow.
Me and him had a
And
great
that's
partnership.
quality
When I told you
composure. 1-0. Beautiful.
we had 4 years
Lovely
together.
through ball from
in
Rivers.
Championship.
Doesn't
He
panic,
then went
tucks
on
it
to
away.
Norwich
Now the
for
celebrations.
2 or 3 or 4
Fantastic.
million quid. But
From Seville, Cramb! Oh, what a strike from Colin Cramb! His first goal at the Alexandra Stadium. He does his trademark run to the dugout, and what a time to do it! His 5th of the season, probably his best goal that he has scored for Crewe to date.
That showboating at the end there.
What is that celebration all about?
No.
All about?
Mate, my face is bright red. I'm so embarrassed.
That's why I kept it in. And there's that T-shirt.
I can't wait till later on for this show to go on. Some
Right.
great goals so far, mate.
Obviously, we can't start off with your career without talking about our old school days.
Yeah.
Now, Jason, you were at primary school and with this fella, right? We both had I don't know whether it was a pleasure or misfortune of being in a classroom with him or no.
I think it was the latter, Peter.
Now, this was us going back to the 80s, right? Where fashion and hairdos were a wee bit, when you look back in them. You know what I'm talking about, Jason?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Well,
Is this the, this is not the long hair weekend days, is it?
Before we start talking about fashion and hairdos, Peter, and Crammy's has been a long family friend of mine for a long, long time. Man, he terrorised me at primary school, by the way, terrorised. But do you know what? I will tell you something here, right? And this should be an inspiration to any kid out there. Colin, I know a lot of people who actually know this, but Colin actually started off with having calipers. And to go for having calipers in both legs to get to the accolades that this guy's done can only be applauded.
Wow.
I have the pleasure of saying that he's been a good friend of mine for many years. We've played together for throughout our childhood.
That's right. Yeah.
But his hairdo, at it, man. It was too shy. Hush, high away.
Oh, Nick Kershaw, I think, was his inspiration. With the 3-foot spike, and I think it was the same with the mullet.
Have you got it?
I'm desperate to see this picture you've got.
Because I remember football training at the high school. I remember for some reason we used to train in the old Ash Parks. And I remember we're all football coach, Colin. Mr. Taylor, Chimp.
Taylor, Chimp,
What a nugget he was.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, I've got a couple of stories dating back to when obviously I was, Jason will remember this one, before I went to high school. Do you remember, somebody brought it up actually a few weeks ago, do you remember that we had to win the last game, Jason, at Canvas Netting, and I had been a naughty boy for a few weeks, and Quilter put me a sub. And
Canvas
down, or 5
Canvas Netting beat us there. Yeah.
Well, I was there that match because Mr. Buxton was our coach.
Yeah, we won. That's right. And I come on as a sub. There were 20 minutes to go, and I scored 4, and we beat 5-4. So we did.
Up the Dallies.
And we up.
No.
The final. We played you in the final up the Dallies once, and I remember you scalping us because you'd Stuart Kerr in goal and everything.
Yeah, we won the Hunter Cup that year.
That's what it was.
Jubilee.
That's what it was.
And Mr. Quilter dropped Crammy for the. I think I'd actually just come back for a broken leg, if I can mind right.
Yes, he did.
And,
he did.
Aye, right. And Crammy was a bad boy that day. And Mr. Quilter, I don't know if he's still alive or what, but I dropped him.
Yes.
And is he still alive?
Still alive.
And I mean, the last by losing it to St. Bridget's, man, it's just disaster.
I just remember playing you had some team at the time. I remember playing you. I came on as a sub up in the Dallies in that cup final, and you hammered us that night. Yeah, it was a big thing back then.
3-0 that game was, Peter.
Yeah. I mean, we had decent players too. We had like John Anthony and Mark Buxton. Yeah. We had some good players, Big Davy Nolan and Craig Bailey and stuff.
You know,
I was speaking to David earlier on. Colin Berry.
That primary school team, we went to Blackshire Select, and we won everything.
That's right.
2 years in that team. Davy Pringle, Jason at the back, Gary Weir, James Gavin. I mean, what team? You never forget it. No. Honestly, you think back in all the years, I can still remember the seasons playing in them primary schools. It was brilliant in that orange top, and God rest his soul. Listen, I have to mention Jason's dad. If it wasn't for that man, my career wouldn't have went to where it was, because he looked at it, he really did. So
you've had some career, Colin.
But David was, honestly, he used to take me aside, and he was like a second. I mean, I'm on a day. Do you know what? I probably kicked myself now. There was a few opportunities that I went to sign for Premier League clubs, and then when I was playing the Championship, Tony Pulis, I went to speak to Harry Redknapp. They came in for me for, I think it was £2 million, and Tony Pulis told Harry Redknapp not to touch me. Says he's out pissed up, he's out drinking, and he's one of the boys. Don't touch him. So there was a few instances I could have joined Barnsley in the Premier League. A QPR, I mean, for talks, my agent pulled out the deal. So there was a few times that I think I look back and think I wasted my career. And then I went over to Holland and played when I went down to top West Ham. I tell you what happened. Harry Redknapp offered me £2,000 a week to go down to West Ham and play for him at the time. Holland offered me £8,000 a week, and I went out there for 4 years. I quadrupled my money to go to Holland, and that's the only reason I went to Holland. I went and played the Dutch Premier League, and it was money wise. But I think back now and
Tuna Sittard or something.
For Tuna Sittard, mate, yes. So, and that's they're the only regrets that I have in football. The rest there, I had 7-8 years in the Championship, then the lower leagues, and then up to Scotland and played there, and had a decent career. It was good. I have lots and lots of memories.
We talking about Vittard there in Holland. Am I right in saying was it Scott Howey, the Motherwell goalkeeper? Did he not go within the same time as you?
No, Scott Booth.
Was that the striker?
Aye.
Scott Booth was at FC Twente. So he did,
Right.
and I went. And I was at Sittard. It was both of us. It was out there. I don't know if you remember. He was in the Scotland squad, and he got caught sleeping on the bench in FC Twente. There's a big thing about it, and his mental. He get subbed for a game and he fell asleep. And he was playing for Scotland. Some of the things you can do out there, honestly, is God. But yeah, it was. I don't think Scott Howey was out there. I played with Scott Howey at Shrewsbury.
Right.
So I did. I can't remember him in Holland.
See, going back to just leaving school, Colin, and then how did you get started or spotted?
Back to Jason's dad, really. He used to take me to all the games, and he was a big influence. So he was, and I can see David just talking to me, telling me what to do and what not to do, and coaching me, and and you know what you used to tell? Well, you used to make all them are drinking the Friday night and all that. Paul, don't you do that? I can see potential in you. I can hear him now saying it to me, and I used to listen to his advice, and we Albie and all that. Jason knows, and Pete Murphy, Ken McKinnon, they would all go about drinking. I'd be in the house, and then all of a sudden, I went. I tell you what happened at Hamilton Accies. I was 15. I think I just signed a YT for him, and we had an under-18 game over at Blantyre Vixies Park.
Right.
Anyway, my dad finished work late, and we had to be over there for 5 o'clock. And I got there at 5:45, and John Park, who I'm really close to, you'll know John, Jason, the great guy. I turned up at half time, and we were 3-0 down. I went on at half time, and we won 4-3. And luckily, the manager of the team was there at the time was Ian Monroe.
Right,
I
remember.
And then, so after that, I went in and played a couple of reserve games, and somebody pulled out. We played Rangers in the Reserve League West, and 2 weeks later, and it escalated for there. I turned 16 a few weeks later. There was an injury to somebody in the first team, and within about 10 weeks period, from 15 to 16, I played a game out at Blantyre Vics, scored 2 against Rangers in the Reserve League West game, and then my first team game was done at Morton when I was 16, and my debut, I scored 2 at Morton in the Championship.
Unreal.
And it was a kind of remarkable few months, and then I think I played some 20 odd games, and then Southampton came calling, and that's where really it took off.
Because that's what I've seen. Obviously, you left school, what was it, 1990 or something? But then the following year you signed for Hamilton Accies. So that's where I thought, how did your career start? It must have been obviously through the old YTS scheme.
Through the YTS, I was at Hamilton. I signed for Hamilton in the youth team, a 2-year scholarship. Within about 5 weeks, they offered me a YTS, and within about a 10-week period, I was back. I was playing first team football. It was mental. So, and then I kind of stayed at Hamilton for a season, learnt my trade a wee bit, and then obviously I went to Southampton in 1994, yeah. 91.
See on that time, Colin, was Fergie. Was he there?
Yeah. Fergie was there. I mean, I looked up to Fergie, Jason. You know, when we were young boys, we used to look at Fergie and think, God, he's a professional footballer, and you know, and all of a sudden, local lad, and then 6-7 weeks, you know, you're playing with the guy, you're in there training with the guy, and you know,
he's a great keeper, wasn't he?
Oh, he's great.
Really good keeper.
Tremendous keeper.
One of the best. I mean, yeah, he wasn't big. He wasn't a tall keeper, Fergie, and that's probably what he'll tell you now. That's probably why he never went Premier League in England. Probably, you know, maybe he didn't. He was good. He was a good Scottish Premier League goalkeeper, but you know, maybe the reason he never went to England was because of his height.
Yeah, I look at that time, Colin, where for such a small village in Humains, producing
phenomenal
5, 6, 7 senior players, and you're right, Fergie was probably one of the guys that our era was the guy that you sort of all looked up to. But that Barnet he has, man, that was pure blonde, wasn't it?
The big blonde Barnet.
Mate, I kill him.
You know what? We both wind him up on Facebook all the time, but I'm sure he was paroxysm. I'm convinced he was.
100%.
You think
he was.
He'll tear the two of you to bits if he hears this.
I know.
He still does it
in a
now.
couple of weeks' time.
He peroxides his hair and peroxides his teeth to this day.
But as you said, as you touched on, Jason, Humains is a wee village. For the sportsmen that have come out that's crazy. Because obviously they're used to Stuart Kerr, Alan Ferguson, and then obviously the boxer as well.
Jim Murray, Davy McEwen as well.
Davy McEwen as well.
Yeah. It's. I mean, why do you think that? That's obviously where like your local club team and folk like Jason's dad and all the sort of boys clubs at the time ran about. It's stood you in good stead. It's old school.
Do you know what? I just look at guys from that time. You had a guy called Joe Cowan. Joe Cowan, phenomenal guy. I love Joe. He's still alive, and he's still doing his bit for the village. But there was another guy who stayed next to Colin, Jimmy McArdle. I'm going to tell you a true story. The day that my dad died, actually, Colin, I don't know if you know this. The day my dad died, my dad was sitting out with Robert Campbell's neck and Colts back in the day.
Yeah.
He was supposed to go with Jimmy McArdle and start together with Humains. And the first thing I said to my mum was, "Oh, you need to phone Jimmy. You need to phone Jimmy." And she's like, "Listen, son, you okay?" I went, "Aye. You need to phone Jimmy, tell him my dad he can't make it today." And she went, "I think Jimmy will be all right. I think he'll know what's happened, son." And it just, that football thing take over, sort of thing. But Jimmy McArdle was a legend.
How old were you at the time, Jason?
Sorry?
How old were you at the time?
When I lost my dad? 50.
I mean, I remember Canby Cole, Dominic Nolan, Mr. Stanage.
Old Stan.
Guys, Old Stan. Changing in a minibus.
Changing in a shed.
There were one time they had us changing in a minibus. I always remember the old style minibus where the benches were up the side of the coach.
Aye, the big blue thing.
Aye. And we're like, right in there and get changed. You're like, you wouldn't think anything about it.
You remember?
Sorry, Colin, carry on, mate.
Remember your dad used to take us down the ladder? The brown ladder.
Man.
The brown one. It used to be 2 or 3 big bags in it, and it used to be 7 or 8, isn't it?
I know, it's unbelievable. By the way, and a ladder. I love ladders. I don't know why. I love ladders.
Ladder reavers. They were all the rage at the time.
There used to be 3 in the front and 5 in the back, hanging out, elbows hanging out the boot. It was all the way down to Cam, but it was mental.
It's great.
I came across a picture of it was running about near the end when the boys' club finished up, and Scott Leach, Tinny's in it, and my grand's in it, and Kathy Nolan, God rest her, she was in it, Big Stanley's God rest him, was in it. But one of the guys that I noticed at the background, another local boy, Lee McCulloch.
Jig.
Big Lee, was he?
Aye, he's only a boy in it though. Because remember, Willie was a year below us, his big brother, Willie. And we were playing up at, I think we were playing up the Ash Parks, actually, in a tournament type thing. And a lot of good memories when we were kids. A lot of good memories.
Aye.
It was, mate.
So,
go on, Peter.
going on to your career, Colin, right? Obviously, you've been about...
Yeah.
I'm just looking at Doncaster Rovers. You seem to be... Obviously, through your career, you went to Hamilton, Southampton, Falkirk, Hearts, and Donny Rovers in Bristol. Out of all the clubs in your career, who would you say you had the best time with? Not just for goals or appearance, I just mean where you felt I feel at home here.
For night suit?
Or night suit, aye.
I tell you what, Donny was a good night out, but my heart's got to say Bristol City, man, because we were a big club back then. We used to get 20,000 back in the day. They get 26, 27,000 now, but back then in the late 90s, early 2000s, 20,000 supporters was good.
Mm-hmm. But you obviously liked it that much. You went back and settled.
It was a big club, and it was also a good night out. Back and settled. I came back six years ago, mate, and obviously I'm with Chloe now, and my business is up and running, and I've got my head back in where I should be. I just think, even my football career as well, Scottish football never suited me. That's the be-all. I never really done much in Scotland. I just couldn't. Do you know where? When I played in England, I was always played as a number 10, and I was always there. I went back up to Scotland, and I was always played as a number 9, a target man. I was never a target man. In Scotland, they educated me a wee touch, and I don't mean that to bring Scottish football down, because that's not what I mean. Is I had the license to go into that hole and play in midfield, and whereas up in Scotland, I didn't get that under Jim Jeffries or at Hamilton, where I was a young boy, and you're learning the trade, and then I obviously at my end of the career, and I went to kind of Stirling and Steny, and where I went with Des. I was back being a number 10 when I went to there the later part of my years, because I couldn't run in behind. 32, 33. You struggle to run behind then, so I got the license to play a bit deeper and make late runs and things, and I was back playing to what I was doing as a younger boy. But I snapped my cruciate when I was in Holland, probably 9 months into I think we were playing at Groningen away it was, and I'd snapped my cruciate and my patella, and then since then I probably wasn't the same player after that. So I wasn't, because I was told I would never play again. I ruptured my cruciate, I ruptured my patella, and I snapped my meniscus on one go. But I came back, I played conference football, and then went back up to Scotland, and I played first division with Stirling, second division, third division, the Shire, and Stirling and Steny. Yeah,
I caught a glimpse of a free kick goal you scored up there as a belter.
Up
East Stirlingshire. Aye.
East Stirlingshire. Aye.
I don't know how I came across that. As a belter, it was about 25 yards out.
You got it here, Peter?
No, I've not got it downloaded. I'll need to look it out and I'll send it to you. But I don't know how I came across that. But I just got a glimpse, and it was a belter, a free kick. It was about 25 yards out, just to the left-hand side of the box.
Yeah. Don't tell him that, Peter. Don't tell him that. This show will go on for about 3 years now.
Made a career out of that, Jay's son. Hey, Peter, I'm going to send them up all my DVDs.
Oh, he's got a walk-in wardrobe with it.
They're all Betamax, so that's the thing.
Oh man. I've got a wee question. One of the biggest talents that they talk about in England with players that could have probably went on to potential bigger things, Crammy.
Yeah.
For your Southampton days, Tissy.
Well, do you know what, Jason? I'm really close to Tiz now as we speak. I speak to him probably once or twice a week, and we've got an ex-Saints group, and we've got a lot of charity games and golf coming up. And I was actually playing golf with him just before we got locked down. What a lovely guy. And do you know, I mean, that's what you call a legend.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy he could do anything. And did I look up to him and try and be who he wanted to be? Yeah, I probably did. If I could be 1% of Matt Lettiz, I'd had a great career. The guy who could do things.
I don't think I ever recalled him scoring a bad goal.
Oh, mate, he's just a legend. Mate. He used to do it in training. I remember him. We were talking about this last week. We were on the ex-Saints group, and it was me, James Beattie, and Glenn Cockrell. And they were talking about when Tiz used to do the crossbar challenge, and he used to do a half volley left and right foot, and he used to hit the crossbar every time. I mean, that takes a lot of doing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't just a one-off once. He used to hit it 5 times out of 8 or 9, left and right foot, half volleys.
Yeah.
Jeez, no.
Would you say he was the best player you've ever played with?
Oh, without a shadow. I mean, Dean Ashton was something else as well. But I played in Holland with a few players as well. With a guy called Mark van Bommel. I went to PSV.
Mm-hmm.
He was something else as well. But yeah, probably Tizia was the best I played with, no doubt.
What about Alan Ball as a manager, mate?
Do you know what?
I've kept that one under the sleeve.
On the ex-Saints group, his lads on it. His lad's called Jimmy Ball, right? And he a few months ago he brought up something that I prayed he would not have brought up. We played a reserve game down in Salisbury, and I was just learning my trade anyway. Jimmy Ball was named as a player. He was so bad. It was unreal. But anyway, Alan Ball made him. He trained with the lads, and then so him and he was best pals with a guy called Mick Shannon, the horses, right?
Right.
All right.
So
right.
we're playing this reserve game, and they two are playing up front. Well, the next day in training, Jimmy's come in. He started laughing, saying, "You can't even get a game." He's winding him up. I've just went banged him clean out in training. I've just done it because I was that frustrated that he wasn't even a player. He wasn't even a Southampton player. I just thought, how is he to come in and noise me up? Anyway, and that was the end. Alan Ball got rid of me about 6 weeks later, and I came to Falkirk after that.
So, what about how did Paul McDonald adjust it? Because I see Paul quite a lot because he's obviously youth at Kilmarnock. How did he adapt it? How did he adapt it all?
Well, he had a bad injury, Paul. But I mean, Paul was probably similar to me. I learnt my trade. Paul was probably more in the first team, training with the first team than what I was. So he was. But wee Margot was something else. He was some player. He had a bad injury. He went to Brighton, and then I think he came back up to Scotland after that, didn't he? I don't think he did. But
he was. Now, you obviously know the brother-in-law, Bob Chambers.
I know Bob.
Him and that's the brother-in-law, and he. I think him and Paul still stay in contact, and you obviously need to bring him down a peg or two. No, I mean, he just gets carried away with himself, Bobster, and just say, "Come on, son, settle yourself down."
Yeah,
but he talks very highly of Crammy. He certainly does, especially.
Tim was asking for him. Yeah, he's a good lad. Yeah. He was. He was at where was he? Was no Canby Colts? Where was he? Canby?
No, Bob started off at this. I think
Hamilton,
it was Hamilton, then went
Celtic.
to Celtic, Hamilton, and then
he was at under 18s with me, Jace, wasn't he? Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So with the funny story, I go into a podcast on a Monday night, the Football Vloggers podcast, and there's a few Bristol City fans and Donny Rover fans on it. Any sort of crazy stories that you can tell out of school for their days?
Well, I'll tell you one. I'll tell you something. Do you know the manager of Donny now? Well, in fact, he's just left. He's took over at Sheffield Wednesday. Darren Moore.
Right.
All right.
Big Darren. Big Darren, they call him Bruno. The fans used to say Bruno. We're in the dressing room one day over at the old Bellevue, and he's putting shampoo in my hair. Well, I'm trying to get it off anyway.
Must have been a tub full of it.
I was a full tub of it anyway. So I've picked up this bucket of mop water and I've chucked it straight over Darren. Bear in mind, he's 6'6". He's 19.5 stone. Right?
Oh, he's built like a brick house. Yeah.
Mate, that's why they call Bruno. Anyway, he's turned around and looked at me, and I've seen the look, and I've bolted out the front door. And across the road is the Donny Rovers, is the racetrack.
Right.
So you had to run over 2 dual carriageways, and this is no word in my kid's life. He has chased me over the two naked over the dual carriageway onto the training course, onto the race course, and chased me up the first furlong. I run for my life. I run for my life, and this was on a Wednesday, and I had to go to the manager and ask him. He's going to kill me on the Saturday. I can't play it. I was bricking myself. So eventually, I went up to his house on a Friday night to try to sort things. He wouldn't let me in. He was talking through the door. I'm going to kill you. I'm raging, and eventually on the Saturday, the minibus come to pick me up, and he was in it, and he forgave me. But I was petrified.
What age were you then?
It was a Donny, so I was 25, Jay?
Right, yeah.
24, 25, yeah. So it was Donny was 94, so 74.
No, you must have only been about 20, 21, 22, you were there.
20,
95 to 97, you were there.
Yeah, that's what I was. 20, so 95 to 25.
Peter, do you have any of the old photos you were talking about? Because I've not really looked at these old photos yet. And the school day haircuts. Have you got any there, Peter?
No.
Oh, I was trying to say
bring me not to show. I remember your school, you mean primary school photo. We used deprivates in it with the hair, and I thought, oh my God.
I tell you what, Stuart Kerr's hair is terrible.
This is a belter. But
I wish he was on this Zoom meeting because he'd have caned him.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. See, back then, was there a lockdown at the barbers? Because you hadn't been there. You had the old curtains. You had the old curtains gone and everything.
Yeah, Peter, is there still a lockdown at the barbers? Look at yours.
Hey, mate, it's all right. I'm starting to get a wee penalty spot up the back here.
Peter's actually being mistaken now for Jurgen Klopp, isn't he, Peter?
Yes.
Jason, I sent him a photograph of the Wedgestone. Remember last few weeks back, Peter?
Yep.
You know the wee guy goes about into the Tyson Fury and he goes, "You want some? You want some?"
He said that.
The Wedgestone Raider or something.
You want some? Come give me ya.
Get Jason to Google that. Jason, Google that.
Have you never seen him?
No.
Oh, you've got to watch him. He's at an amateur game, and he's tanked up, and some boy just said something to him, and he said, "You what?"
He boycotts every press conference, and then he wants to fight Tyson Fury or Joshua and all the. And he's a wee skinny guy. He's only like 5 stone, but he's funny, man. He's.
Right, so
sorry, I need to interrupt here because guess what I've just found?
Oh no!
I don't know if you can see it.
Put it up to the camera.
That's the one.
There we go.
That's the one I've got.
There's me right next to him, and look at Kerzo.
Colin, you look like a fucking Weetabix seed.
Do you know who Weetabix seed? Do you know who Stuart Kerr looks like? You remember Imelda Davis out of Grange Hill? Oh God!
What a career that man's had as well, though.
Stuart, brilliant.
No, I mean,
couldn't happen to a nicer guy as well. And by the way, what a goalkeeper! What a goalkeeper!
Oh, it was great. I remember always trying to play on the park with him, and when he was up at his grand's, and you could never get a goal by him, never. But I remember always at PE, when we were doing the changing room, he would always come in with it when he was with Rangers or Celtic. I've had fit my bits for this club and gloves for that club, and you're thinking, what a giant shit.
He was sponsored at a young age with
Very.
Rush, I think, wasn't Rush?
Aye.
Jason,
Yep.
Jason will tell you more when he
Yeah.
was Rush, Jason, wasn't he?
Rush,
He was
yeah.
sponsored with him for years, wasn't he?
Aye.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to get him on because I would love to hear stories about the Canio and. I mean, did you ever play with crazy guys like that?
I played against the Canio when I was at Hearts in Falkirk. So I did. Obviously, I played at Rangers against Loudrop and all them, but not really. I mean, you bear in mind when I played with Yogi. So
I love that guy. I love that guy.
We were talking about the other day there, actually.
Aye.
If you want to talk about the craziest guys I've ever played with, Big Yogi will say Colin Cramb, and I'll say Yogi. That's no word of a lie.
Well,
I'm going to tell you the truth.
We spoke about the interview Maurice Johnson gave live in telly, and I don't know if you were still there at the time. Was it at Falkirk?
He ran
Run the pitch naked. Naked.
I played. I was there that day. Thomas.
Grammy, he was my mentor on the A license, and I tell you what, I was saying this to Peter the other day there. If you ever were serious about football and you wanted to play for somebody, he would be the guy.
Yeah.
Because unbelievable. No, I mean, he knew. I mean, I think sometimes when you talk about the top end side, I mean, Ross County are starting to pick up a bit of form now, and I think it's purely because of the character that he is. I don't think it's anything to do with tactics or anything like that. It's just because he's trying to create an environment there which is that you instead of coming to work, no, here we go, do this, running, blah blah blah. He's coming in there and he's bringing a bit of fun, a bit of enjoyment. Obviously, try to get the fundamentals right, but I think that's the character he is. I loved it when he was taking the real license. It was brilliant.
Yeah, a lot of clubs are regimented. A lot more now. I mean, you'll know yourself, Jason, being the coach on the pitch all the time. Where there's a model. There are a lot of clubs where you have to. They've got this model set up, even from the academy, young ages. I mean, when I was with Rangers, we spoke about the amount of money it's spent down in England, where a club like Southampton, the under-9s, they had like so many full-time analysts. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But everything is regimented and drilled into these play. This is the style of play. This is our format and how we're going to do. I mean, you've how long you been into coaching, Colin? I believe you're into coaching.
What was it like?
Well, I done my B license and then obviously I'm into TM traffic management after. So I've not done any coaching since I finished, mate. So I haven't. So it just I don't know if it was me, to be honest with you. I just found another profession, and thank God that it's doing well now. I've obviously had a few rocky years back up in Scotland, but where I am now, mate, I wouldn't change anything. So, and I still play football on a Sunday. I play with a team called the Three Lions. So don't be slagging me for that.
No, well, but I was going to say something there. That's that English part in you again, but I wouldn't.
That's the English part in me. But I don't know. You probably know. You 5 or 6 players that play with us. I don't know if you know him. Scott Murray.
No.
Lewis Carey, Lee Trundle.
Oh, aye. The striker.
Aye. We've got 5
Swansea,
or 6.
Swansea.
He was at Swansea and Bristol City,
Aye.
so he was.
Oh, what a player, by the way. What a player, right?
We had Jamie McAllister playing with us as well. But obviously, he's went back up to Sunderland now, and Lee Johnson. But we had, mate, most weeks we're running 12, 14, 15, 0 every week. But it's the top amateur league down here, so it's still good to get out there and play.
I tell you what I do love it, and this is a character bit, and I think this has got a lot to do with us as a village. We've always had characters in the village, and I can tell that Patter hasn't changed much on Facebook. No, we speak quite a lot on Facebook, and do you know what I love? How you wind up all these Bristol City fans who love you. A lot of them love you. Some of them want to smash you, but who are your best pals?
Aye,
and I'm saying, that boy will never change.
Nah. Mate, I know the mod in here, and the thing is, I take it, I probably go that step
Too far.
further. But yeah, they all know me now. It's banter. I get people that block me, delete me. Like Fergie's blocked me, deleted me now, Jason.
No.
Has he?
Aye. Blocked me, deleted me. Because he can get a banter out, but he says that he was slagging me about something, and I slagged him back about being a security guard. And he blocked me. He blocked me.
You know I'm going to call him a security guard now.
Jason, he'll block you.
See, down in Bristol, Colin, what's the rivalry like between City and Rovers? I mean,
it's bad, mate.
Is it
bad? It's not to the extent where Rangers and Celtic, right? Because that's on another level. But it's probably. I mean, I was at Southampton, Portsmouth. I've seen Man United, Man City, because I've got up to Man U and watch them because I've got a season ticket up there for the sins of me. But Bristol City Rovers is probably one of the top 3 or 4 in England.
Really?
So it is. That's not high honest. I know you've got your Millwalls and all that, and your Chelsea,
your Arsenal, Tottenham,
Arsenal's and all that. But the Rovers City is utter hatred.
So it's not like a Liverpool derby where like members of the same family could either be a blue or a red.
No chance, mate. You don't see any where I stay and things. This is the city end, and you don't see any Rovers fans are this way. So they're all the other side of Bristol.
Am I right to saying, Crammy, that City just got, is it Nigel Pearson?
Just get Nigel Pearson, mate. I mean, the clubs, they've just got a new stadium, Jason. They've just also, when Lee Johnston and Jamie McAllister there, and my mate Scott Murray's the kit man. I go up to training sometimes and I'll look, but you want to see the training facilities at City, it's something else. They've got 12 pitches, they've got the indoor, they've got the dome, they've spent some like £8-9 million in the training ground. They've also got the big analyst screen, the 100 feet screen, and they use that on a daily basis. And they've got 2 or 3 of them that sit on the analyst board and outside in the training field, and they get through everything on the train. It's top notch.
Yeah.
So it is.
So where they sit in the championship?
They're further down in that. They've lost a few. They're about 9th, I think. Mm-hmm. So they're 8th or 9th there.
Good manager though to come in though.
Brilliant manager, so he is. Yeah, brilliant manager. The thing is, our fans are quite fickle. We lose 3 or 4 and they want to get rid of them. I know it's like that in most clubs, but we've had 6 managers in this part of 9 years now, and that Lee Johnson had a 5-year stint there, so that says everything.
What was the story with that? Was he asked to go, or was he offered the Sunderland job?
No, the fans wanted him sacked basically, and then they held they were outside the stadium. Jason, he kept Bristol City in the top 8 or top 9 for 5 seasons in a row. I mean, we should be bottom 6, bottom 7, bottom 8. What he done was nothing short of a miracle for the club. Yeah. And in this day and age and time, managers don't get enough time in any clubs they're at now. Yeah. They expect success straight away, and it doesn't happen, and that's why. Even Chris Wilder at Sheffield United. Wow, what a story he's done. Mm-hmm. And because they're sitting bottom of the Premiership, they sack him. That's just it's just unbelievable.
Because City, I think they're sitting around about 12th, aren't they? So I think they're going to finish mid-table. I think they're sitting 12th with 49 points, the same points with Stoke. But there's about 13 points off a playoff. Reading.
Are they 13 points off the 6th?
Eh?
Are they 13 points off 6th place?
Aye. But I believe in England they've still got a lot of games to play. Is that right?
Aye, they're still probably 10 games left, I think, aren't they? 10, 11 games.
Aye, because when I was on the English podcast last week, they were saying that like some teams have got 13, 14 games to play, and you're thinking, bloody hell. Aye. What in Scotland? There's only 6 left.
I think Bristol City's got 3 games in hand. So if they win 2 out of the 3, I think they go 3 points short of the playoffs. but yeah, as I say, mate, they're a big club. They've got a lot of potential, and we're building another part of the stadium as well, which would take it to 32. And I believe we would fill that if we went to the Premier League. The chairman's pumped a lot of money in, but I think his rugby is what he relies on. He likes the rugby more than he does the football. And Steve Lansdowne, he was manager, he was chairman or vice chairman when I was there way back. So he's pumped money into the club left, right, and centre. But as I say, nowadays you don't get time. Being a manager, it's a ruthless business.
I'm going to fast forward you a bit here, Crammy, to run about your end of your career. And it was a player who Kerso used to talk to me about, was a phenomenal talent. Now I had the privilege of doing a pre-season with him and made the decision. And again, he was at the end of his career. There was a guy called JP McBride. And Kerso used to say to me, the biggest waste of talent for Parkhead would be JP McBride. And that was the time when Larson and that was it.
Yeah. Mate, I played with, I mean, I don't know why I never gave my mention when I mentioned Tiz and Dean Ashton and Van Bommel. JP was the best player I've probably ever seen in Scotland to train with, even at a lower level. I know I played with him the first division in Scotland, but he was something. The things that boy done straight away in training, you can tell boys, you can tell what they're like. I mean, I remember picking JP up every Saturday with a bottle of bucky in his tube and going to training, and then get him with a bottle of whiskey. He would drink a bottle of bucky before it, and he'd get him with a bottle of whiskey, man of the match. I swear to God, man, I'm not honestly. He loved a bevy, Jai, and that's what obviously let him down. But what a player! Honestly, the things he done, you couldn't get the ball off him. He really was.
I done a pre-season with Wisher Juniors with him when the Bathies were almost done, and even you could see he was starting to sort of get into the coaching side, I mean, I could tell, and I would look at him and go, "Wow, what a talent!" And I said to him, "I said, Jack, you still going to play?" He says, "I'm going to play for as long as I can." But I always had this picture in my head. I went, "You're supposed to be the dafty, but you're actually no dafty at all."
He just liked to drink. That was all he done, the boys. Yeah. He used to tell you, he used to get in at 7, 8 in the morning, get a bath, go to sleep, and then come. Then the road up to the game, he'd like a half bottle of bucky in his bag, drink that, down it, go play the game, man of the match, and him. Never seen anything like it.
Do you think that could have been something to do with his nerves or something then? It just made him more relaxed?
I just think he was an alcoholic. That's the be all and end all. But
Christ's sake.
I still speak to Jai these days, mate, and what a guy, man. Honestly, what a guy. I mean, listen, was it Paolo Di Canio or was it Larson? No, or Marat, one of them, one of the top 3 Marat check. They says he was the biggest talent they'd ever seen. I think it was Larson, you know. They say John Paul McBride was the biggest talent he'd ever seen. So there you go. There's your answer.
Kerr definitely said that. So when he was with Celtic, he turned around and said, "Listen, I played with Larson and blah 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 Sutton and blah blah." He's like, "This guy, what a talent, what a talent!" And I went, "What's happened to him?" Unbelievable.
It was. I think he used to show. I think it was in 442 or some one of these magazines at one of these statements for Larson or Marat. I can't remember what it was, but one of them had said he's the best player he'd ever seen, and it was like John Paul McBride. So
what a statement!
What a statement!
Yeah.
So, obviously, you've had a good career. You've come away from football and living life with your good lady and your own business. So life is good. Yeah. Do you think you would ever get back into football? Maybe entice yourself back into coaching, or?
No. I've had opportunities to go and take a couple of teams and There's a couple of opportunities come up a few years ago, and but I'm too busy with running my business now, and obviously I took up the golf as well, which I took it up about 6-7 years ago. So I'm on the golf course 3 or 4 days a week. So
I can see your point right enough when you look at this other man, the state he's looking with coaching.
Jason. Well, the thing is,
stress.
Jason, here's a question for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
How come? Because you only get into coaching, as in where you are now, 7 years ago, 8 years ago?
I'm trying to think.
Longer than that.
Longer than that.
Because you were at Airdrie.
It was Airdrie.
I was at Airdrie for just under 5 years.
Yeah.
Clyde for 4 years and Alloa for 4 years. So 4 years. And this is like 2 years.
2 years down the line, because I just left Norton when you started.
Yeah.
So you get into the coaching late, would you say then? Than what you should have?
Probably.
Is it something? Something you should have done? Obviously, when you were 19, 20, do you think you should maybe?
No. I mean, for me, well, everybody's got a way of dealing with things in their own way. I look at some of the young coaches nowadays who I like to class as a laptop coach. Right. And the first question I ask them is, "Have you ever played the game?"
Yeah.
So put yourself in, and then 9 times out of 10 the answer is actually no. So, and I'm trying not to slag them off in any way. I just say, well, put yourself in that scenario, and what sort of decision making would you do under pressure, and blah blah blah, stuff like that. But play the game. Play the game first, and then if you still want to continue it, but use your information to help you problem solve. But don't think And by the way, there's some fantastic young coaches coming through. The wee guy called Charlie King at Queen's Park. The guy's tremendous.
Good.
But I would, I'm not knocking these guys at all, but I'd always say, listen, I think it's a big part of their development as well as young coaches. Go play.
Yeah, good.
I just.
Do you want to go?
On you go, Colin.
Do you want to go? Jason? Do you want to go into? Where do you want to go now for here then? Do you want to go to first team football?
I've done a bit of first team for a very when Gordon Dale was at Airdrie. I've done a wee bit because of criteria, and you need to have this certain qualification. Right. So I've done a few first team sessions training. Because I get better satisfaction having an input with a young player to just give that wee 5% input into there, and then when I got a guy who sort of late developer, he's now playing with Dunfermline, a guy called Josh Edwards. Yeah, this lad here, week in week out with Dunfermline. Gordon Dale wanted to take him on board. There was a bit of to and fro with him because he stayed in Kilmarnock and they'd seen travelling here. There was a bit of a problem, but they fixed it. I can see this guy. I think Hearts are looking at him now. Work to him, and they're the sort of type of guys that you say, Chris, I did me 5% input, and I wish the boy well. I really do. That's the bit that I enjoy.
Aye.
See, I wish I wasn't as talented as you guys coming up through the school football teams and stuff. And
I wouldn't say I was talented, Peter.
I just wish that we had the opportunities that the kids do now, because when you see them going to high school and they've got all these courses and different routes into sport, I mean, it's just by chance I fell into it. I mean, I get made redundant for recruitment. I was like 19, 20 years in recruitment, and I just I get made redundant, and then I started helping out with the North Lanarkshire Active Schools, and the guy that I dealt with there, his brother was the analyst at Airdrie, and he says he needs a hand, and I started working with Jimmy Boyle with the first team, and then when my son Ryan got the season ticket at Ibrox, Saturdays weren't good for me, so I went and worked with Stevie Finlay with the reserves, and I loved it. And it was just by chance I spoke to Steve Harvey at Rangers, and I says, who deals with the analysis side? And he says, just me and the first team. The academy don't have anyone. They get the footage maybe like a week later after Rangers TV send it to them, and that's how I got started in there. So I was there for about 3 seasons. But now it's all students that are getting in and sitting these uni degrees and everything else. It's killing opportunities for me, because obviously I don't have the degrees. I mean, I might have a bit of practical experience, or slightly more practical experience than they do, but everybody's wanting to go with students and getting interns in, and it's, I don't know, but I just wish.
It's of course, Peter. That's what it's all about.
I know that.
Trying to get the best there at the cheapest price, and sadly, because of coronavirus and whatever, that's just the way of the world that we're in just now.
Yeah. Does Joe Savage still do the analyst, Peter?
I've not really came across Joe Savage. Who's he? He's in Fairland.
Motherwell, Joe.
It's Motherwell. He was in doing it at Hamilton for a while, and then Stenny or somebody else.
It's Ross. It's done at Motherwell. He's been there for a few years now. But my good manager in the academy with Rangers, Graham Stevenson, he's with Gerrard. He's part of Gerrard's background team. He's a great lad.
See, Graham Stevenson, is that the guy with the dark? No, isn't it the guy with the dark hair? He's got dark hair, but his brother David, a lot of them have come through the working part with the SFA and all that sort of stuff. Right. But Graham's a great lad. He really is. He's stayed in Cambusnethan, actually. Right. Yeah, that's where I think I know him from. And his brother David. So his brother, he's at Rangers as well, but he's part of the recruitment team. Right. But I can't speak highly enough of Graham. The other guy, Craig Dunbar, he's gave me a bit of feedback, but he's at Celtic. He's the first team analyst at Celtic. And he's gave me a lot of feedback and help, and always somebody that's he says I could turn to if I need any guidance and stuff like that. But at the moment, I'm loving my time at St Mirren. Unfortunately, there's no fit with it now, but hopefully not be long before we're back into it, Jason. Know what I mean?
No, it's starting back. We're starting back on Monday night. So it's all sort of looking a bit more positive than what it was now anyway. So So what we'll finish up with the Old Firm games this Sunday. Yeah. Obviously the league's won. Rangers have a big game on Thursday, tomorrow night. Yeah. How do you think that'll go? It's a hard game. Slavia Prague, isn't it? Aye. Yep, they went down to Leicester and 1-2. 1-2, that's right. I mean, it's a hard game. They had a great result last week, Rangers, against them, 1-1 away from home. Yep, still undefeated in Europe. Definitely something that they could go and win. There's no doubt about it. It's a winnable game. But there are dangerous opponents, as I've seen against Celtic and Leicester and all the other two teams. The Dynamo, who's other Dynamos? They put the second round or third round. They put one of the Russian teams out, Zenit St. Petersburg. So they're a dangerous team. Mm-hmm. Aye, they did a good result. I mean, one of the strikers got a couple of goals at the weekend there, and apparently that was them supposed to be really tired because their managers came out and he says, like, going in their sports science stats and stuff like that, see how everybody wears these GPSs now and different other trackers, saying their fitness levels really, it took a real toll on them, their fitness on Thursday night. So I don't know how that's going to affect, but with the game on Sunday, I still don't know how that's going to go. Because I think they'll win. I think they'll win Sunday. I mean, Celtic's confidence is going to be battered at the minute. With things that are going on, and as I say, I think Gerrard's got them playing some really good stuff. So I think they'll go there with kind of a lot of confidence. I don't know if it's a coincidence. Say before Christmas, Rangers were playing their European games and they were blown, and domestically they were blowing teams out of the water.
And then they had that spell over Christmas, New Year. There were no European football. And they were grinding at results, maybe 1-0, that sort of stuff. And they weren't playing. All of a sudden, they're back playing Europe, and they're getting good results on the domestic front. I don't know if that has given them a sort of boost in confidence, maybe a better focus. I don't know.
I think Thursday night's game is going to be the focus. I think he'll, even though it's an old firm game, I think Thursday night is where his focus will be, and I think they'll have a completely changed squad for Sunday.
Yeah, definitely.
To rest players.
That's what I've been. That's what I've been impressed with, Jason, with them this year, where they aren't looking far in front. They're looking at the next game, and that is it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's instilled Gerrard's instilled into them.
I actually fancy Celtic on Sunday. You know that? I fancy Celtic. I think
that's what I think. I don't know how it's going to go, because I'm just going on the footage for January, where Celtic played the Diamond with Griffiths and Edward up front, and I think we spoke about it before, Jason, where I thought they played really, really well. And I think it's for the beginning of the season, it's killed Celtic. See where Lennon has been stuck in his ways, playing the old guard, guys like Brown and stuff like that, where you've got a player like Turnbull and Sorrow. I've been really impressed with Sorrow.
Yeah.
Defensively.
Does the job well.
It's defensively, Celtic have been absolutely boys school errors.
Yeah, they have been. The big Shane Duffy was a bad signing. I went to watch Brighton. Was it last year? Well, I went to watch there was a bounce game. Brighton had played Bristol City in a bounce game last year up at the training ground, and Scotty invited me on and watched it. And big Shane Duffy was playing centre half, and there was a young boy playing with City called Callum. Was a Dowder. He was only 16. Listen, this young boy terrorised Shane Duffy in the bounce match. It terrorised him. 16, kept going short and spinning him, kept going long and coming short. Big Shane was all over the place. And I thought then, when Celtic signed him, I thought, I'm not going. I mean, listen, he's done well in the Premier League. There's no doubt about it. He's done well. But what I seen that day, I thought his legs are gone. Yeah. His legs are completely gone. And since then, even when I've watched him, he's not really played much. He went out on loan and different things. But even with Celtic, he's just not looked the same player.
I think his confidence is gone as well then.
Well, I think you get to a certain age. What age is Shane Duffy? 32 now?
I don't know. He's certainly in his 30s, but what age I don't really know.
He's 30s, and you get to that stage, don't you? Your legs just start to tire, and I think that's why he was found out the Premier League he's not played much Premier League football over the last few seasons before coming to Celtic. But you need to have a bit of pace about you, especially playing in the Premier League. You know, maybe not so much the Scottish Prem, but definitely the English Prem, because you look at all the forwards in England. You tell me one slow striker that plays up front in the Premier League.
I would striker.
You can't really tell me.
No, when you look at when Liverpool's front three and Man City front three run at you, that's scary.
29 shouldn't have
29.
Scary. But the most of them have all again, but it's wages day for everybody. So I'm stuck in there for 4 or 5 hours doing all that.
You'll hate that day, eh? Wages, paying out wages.
Especially when Scottish, Jason. You know what us Scottish
2 coats of paint.
Yeah.
Anyway, lads, I've still enjoyed my night. I think we'll wrap it up here. I don't know what's your thoughts, Colin. Maybe if we get Stuart on, bring you back on.
Yes, mate. I would love to. I'd love to do it on a regular basis. Keep up with the two years and Stuart as well. So I would thoroughly enjoyed it. I would love that. So
no bother, pal. Right, gents.
All right, pal.
Have a lovely night and take care.
Jason, see you later, pal.
Great to talk to you, pal.
See you later.